So good evening, everybody. So first, apologies that we had to set this up at short notice. Things have been very hectic for us with the new director taking over. Uh, you know, we all are very busy trying to uh, get our arms around the new leadership team around him and help realize the immediate mission or immediate task that he has. But anyway, nonetheless, here we are, and we still wanted to do it just to ensure that with leadership, one important aspect of leadership is discipline, right? And it would not look good for us if we have been very regular with this monthly lecture, so we wanted to stick to the discipline and ensure that we still have a very meaningful discussion around. So what we thought we would do today, and it is very relevant, today's discussion is also very relevant in the context of what I just said, that with the new director taking over, there are a lot of activities, a lot of buzz around things that we are trying to do. And one of them, one of the key things that we are trying to do is convert the Partha Ghosh Academy of Leadership into a school. It's a very important graduation um, for the now academy and to a school. And why is it very important? Because I think once the academy becomes a school, then we can actually formally offer degrees, master's degrees, even doctorate degrees on leadership to students, which so far, because we were limited as an academy, we were not able to do. But let me take a step back. So the academy actually started way back in 2018. And to even say that, Partha contributed is actually an understatement. So without Partha's benevolent involvement and support to IIT, the academy would not be there. So he has been he's of course a distinguished alumnus, and this is kind of expected of a distinguished alumnus, the role that he played. And with his support and blessings, we started in 2018. And however, having said that, just like any startup organization, the initial few years, uh, there will always be some flux around. There will be some settling, teething issues, right? Which we have had our fair share of that. And but then the good part is over the last few years, 6+ years of our existence, we have learned. And our aspirations have also evolved. And the discussion that we are going to have today is in those lines, that where do we see academic institutes like IITs play a role in imbibing leadership qualities. And leadership qualities at different levels, uh, starting with individuals, but then, of course, at the institute level, and then as a society, right? And then now, what makes the Partha Ghosh Academy of Leadership under the IIT Kharagpur umbrella so unique? So not only did Partha, support us in setting up the academy, but also what he has done is based on his years of experience of having worked across the globe, he himself has learned, the best of both worlds. Like he himself did his childhood days were in this part of the world, in India. Of course, he graduated from KGP, then he migrated to US, and then worked in Japan, all over the place, right, all over the globe. So what his IP or his vision is, if we can, imbibe the goodness of both the Eastern and the Western worlds together, and thereby, instead of looking at it, so most of the times we say, right, that, this attribute is quote unquote Western and this is Indian, right? So instead of looking at it like Western versus Indian, and, instead of separating it out, his philosophies, can we bring these philosophies together? And with that, can we impact the grassroots level? And that's where the you know the vision kind of gives rise. I mean, comes up for the academy. And with that, with that, what we are going to talk about today is how these these attributes, or the thought process that we have, how these are going to play a role in leadership in academia, and how it is going to impact the country. Of course, IIT KGP to start with, then the country, and then the world at the global stage. And not to forget that we are not the only IIT who are doing that. There are other IITs who are also taking leadership very seriously. Fortunately, we have been a front runner, just like many other in many other aspects. IIT KGP has been the front runner, and we are fortunate that even in this case, we are, I think, probably the only IIT who started this, academy right at the beginning. So I think we should take a moment to pat our back. But then we have just got started. A lot of work remains, and I think both Professor Sen as well as Partha, we are going to discuss what is going to be there, what is going to come up in the next few years, and how it falls in line with the vision that we as a team, Partha, at the helm of it, has in mind for developing leadership in the country. So with that, I will invite Professor Joy Sen. He's a senior professor in the Department of Architecture and Planning of IIT Kharagpur. He also happens to be my senior and my professor. He actually taught me when I was a first year graduate here. So with that, and he's also the advisor of the academy right now. He's playing a very crucial role in, setting the direction of what kind of programs the academy would be doing, what sort of, activities we should be looking at. So with that, I would invite Professor Sen to, start the discussion, and then invite Partha to actually take over. We also have Commander Jaitley with us. He has also been involved with the academy from the very beginning. And as much as he would like to participate in the call, but as luck would have it, he is right now on the road. So traveling from Ranchi to Hazaribagh. So he's not on a very stable internet connection, but we'll try and see if we can get a few words in from him. So with that, Professor Sen, all yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think thank you so much, Dr. Nandi. I would call Prajit. That's the way I know him. I think this is a wonderful moment because this particular event has been happening, as Dr. Ghosh puts it, Partha puts it, like a rhythm. It has been continuous, perennial, and very well sustained. So we thought we'll just take a break, which is today, and look back at ourselves and do a bit of soul searching, and then we live farther for the future. That's what today is. I think there are two things in the world. One is things that we are forced to do, by destiny, by chance, by education, by affordability, by family. And there is another thing that we like to do. And within those, there are very few things which we love to do. I think myself, I being a part of the Partha Ghosh Academy of Leadership is something which I like to do and something that I love to do. So this is a blessing which has come to my life. And I take it this way. And I know as a faculty, as a professional, because I was in the industry for about 11 years in India, in some parts of the world. These things are not easy. They don't come so easily. To be involved in an academy of leadership at this time of the year is actually a very rare thing. I'll be very quick. And I think there are 4 points which I like to make. One at the global level, the second one at the national level, the third one is at the institutional level, and the fourth one is at the individual level. If you look at the global level, the world is going through tremendous changes. A huge part of that is uncertainty and our inability to cope up with the change, which is very generic at all levels of existence. So we need our dialogue. We need a presence of a sermon. We need the clarity of something in our global education level, which makes us very comfortable. And that only happens when good words of wisdom emerge at the global level. When we look at great personalities like Martin Luther Jr. or the US President John F. Kennedy, or the great philosopher, sage, orator, Swami Vivekananda, or even a great talent, a writer like Leo Tolstoy, there's something that we learn that necessity is the mother of invention, and struggle is actually a prelude to existence and inventions and discoveries. So what we learn from the global level are these tremendous personalities who have struggled and who have actually made their way after like 99 failures. On the 100th time comes the success. These are the words of Thomas Alva Edison. These are the words of Edison. So if I come down from that level to the national level, I think India is a part of this tremendous change that is happening. And after a long, long time of an ancient, unknown, golden past that we believe that India had once upon a time, India is again coming back on the roads. It's coming back on her wheels. The economy of India to begin with, the culture of India to put it in the middle, and then the deep culture of India, which is spirituality, is becoming a global acceptance. It's becoming a global observation. It's becoming a global way of life. I think to give a simple example, there are more people outside India who practices one of the deepest processes of Indian spirituality, which is yoga. If you go through the roads of India, I think you will find more digital shops and digital institutions. But if you sojourn a road in Paris or in San Francisco, probably will see more shops and parlors and saloons which are trying to teach yoga. Yeah. So this is a very interesting thing, and this is something from where we need to learn as Indians. I'll come to the third level, which is in the institutional. Now, amongst institution, IIT has played a huge role after 1947 with the leaders who were available at that point of time. There was a great need to put forward the technical education for India, for Indians, and raise India slowly but steadily to the world stage. So as a consequence, the Indian Institutes of Technology came up, and IIT Kharagpur came up as a mother of this system. And today it has grown to an ecosystem which looks like an university, which is about 26,000 people. It's absolutely incredible, with more than 17,000 students and with a huge pool and galaxy of departments, centers, schools, academies, and many others, just to name a few. So what's happening? A time has come for the institute to reorganize, resettle, and rebring the various spokes of activities and technical education that's happening in the institutes of technology in India, of which IIT are many, IITs are many, and IIT Kharagpur is the mother, to a hub, to a nave, to a centroid, so that whatever we are doing in mechanical engineering as a mechanical engineer, and whatever someone is doing in civil engineering as a civil engineer, they all are put to a common goal on a common crossroad that looks for good humanity, with good sustainability, with good accessibility to resources, and good affordability of products and production processes. So to do that, we need a very important thing, which is leadership. We need leadership in a very big way so that the IITs change gears and they start doing something more than what they have been doing in the last 50, 60, or 70 years. And this is where a unique position of a school of leadership gets a huge prominence. With this, I'll come to the last and the fourth level, which is the individual. And for that, I just look at myself and I see that I have reached some level of experience and some little level of maturity, not by leading people, but by listening to people, but by learning from people, and by collating people as a teamwork. I think that has happened more in my life. And I thought I was never leading these people, but many of my friends, many of my students, and many of my batchmates, they said, Joy, by default, you're leading people. So then I understood that when I'm behind people and trying to back them up, I'm actually leading them. When I'm trying to help people or students in my class, perhaps I'm leading them. When I'm sharing some of their thoughts in my life and making those thoughts as a part of my teaching, perhaps I'm also leading them. But these are things I never knew even a few years back. So to be open to education and to be open to an open-ended education system is, I think, the spirit of leadership. So I'm very blessed. I consider myself to be extremely fortunate to be part of this school of leadership, which is becoming a school of leadership from an academy of leadership. And it's going to spread all its wings by developing various dimensions or parametrics and indicators of courses, educational programs, master's programs, innovation labs, bringing departments together, giving them a centroid of a swarm, an ensemble of a teamwork to be together, to work together. Now, for this, I like to close with one of the last sutras of the Rig Veda, which is perhaps the oldest scripture in the world, which is Sangacha Swangvadha Sanghomana. So I think perhaps a few thousand years, even prior to Lord Buddha, some unknown sage, as they were always unknown, as they were always unpopular and not known, and as they were who were always in the background and not known, I think they have left for us the highest gospel of leadership. To simply discover leadership, all we need to do is predict a wonderful future for leadership, which I have been trying in the last 5 minutes, and also regenerate the extremely deep values that we have in this country for thousands and thousands of years, which means regenerate our past. So leadership is a combination of a prediction for the future and a regeneration of the past. And to bring them together, and to develop an ability to bring them together is leadership. I think the Partha Ghosh Academy of Leadership, which is becoming a Partha Ghosh School of Leadership, will empower us with this beautiful faculty of bringing people together, doing a teamwork, and making people talk who otherwise are not talking with each other, making people friends who otherwise are not friends to each other, and making disciplines converge to a grand unified field of knowledge systems, which otherwise appear to be reductionist and quite separate from each other. I think the Partha Ghosh School of Leadership will take up this tremendous purpose of serving humanity, serving the nation, serving IIT Kharagpur, and serving herself. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you, Professor Sen. So now I would invite Partha to actually share his, because I think, I'm not sure if he has shared, of course, he has done this with us as a team, but I'm not sure he has shared his vision or his thoughts about leadership in academia with a larger group. I think this is probably the first time, right, Partha? Did you do this earlier?
Right. No, I did not actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
So I
done this
invite you.
one.
Yes. So please go ahead.
So first, I want to thank you, Prajit, for organizing this meeting and your beautiful introduction. And Joy, as always, you have touched on the subject of leadership from 4 different levels, from global to national to IIT to individual level. That really have set up a beautiful stage on which I would like to paint a picture. You've given us a beautiful canvas, and maybe I'll break it up based on what Prajit just requested, that what is the vision of leadership that has evolved in my mind over the years, and why I think having a good leadership movement out of IIT Kharagpur for our country, for the world, is important, and why it should be done in a very urgent fashion. I want to talk about it, and then I would like to talk about why leadership is a very important, I would say, should be a theme in any center of learning. At the end of the day, universities create the next phase of development. All the great ideas come from universities that go out to the industry, and the world moves on with series of waves from steam engine to digital world that where we are today. So the first point, how my vision of leadership developed, it is a series of, I would say, interactions. I had the privilege, and I must say with all humility, it was presented to me by perhaps chance, where I had the opportunities to interact with people like Mr. Matsushita, Mr. Soichiro Honda, founder of Sony, Mr. Morita, and then some of the Western leaders like Mr. Andy Grove and many others. It's just because of the nature of profession I was in. I was always working on strategic issues for major companies around the world, in US, in Europe, in Japan, Korea. And I did notice that when it comes to a highest quality leadership, whether he is from Japan or whether he or she is from United States or India, there's some common denominators at the highest level. But at the next level, they depart. Like Western approach is very Cartesian, Eastern approach is very relational. It's it's not dollars and cents. It is how I connect the emotions of people, bring it together. That's more important, particularly in Japan. Whereas in the US, it was more hardcore portfolio approach. What have you done for me lately? If you have done good things, you get a promotion. If you have not done good, you are no longer part of the team. But I always felt great leaders make everyone succeed. They don't evaluate people, they help everyone to succeed. Some may be brighter than others, but then pick up the weakest one in the team and help him or her to become brighter. That is to me leadership, and that evolved. And then over time, I started developing leadership programs for actually C-level executives and mid-level executives. And I did perhaps 100 leadership programs around the world. And I have to particularly thank one person who is no longer with us, is Professor Charles West, who was the president of MIT. When one day by chance he met me and he said, Partha, given your background, we have worked all over the world between the boardroom and the tool room. You should develop a leadership program for MIT. And it has to be something unique because I believe that's Charles West talking, that we have a serious leadership deficit in the world. And that discussion happened in 2001, 2002 in a flight from Boston to Washington, D.C. So let me dedicate this lecture in his honor, Charles West. And then I got more involved in leadership development at MIT, developed series of courses. And that's the time when I brought in the concept of how to fuse the Eastern and the Western model so that we would not neglect what we have done in the West, nor we should not reject what we have done in the East, how to bring it together. And I did study a lot of philosophical books from Shintoism, Confucianism, Vedic philosophy, Tagore, to in fact Arabic and Persian philosophy, to Greek, to Roman, all the way to what Harvard Business Schools are teaching. So that was a very interesting period in my life. I could really engage with the understanding what makes someone a good citizen. Because great leaders are fundamentally good citizens. And that offered me to develop a model which I've humbly shared with IIT Kharagpur, which would perhaps help us to charge or energize the leadership movement that Joy and Prajit were talking about. We want to spread all over the world. So that's the model that I'm talking about, how it evolved in my mind. And my feeling is leadership should be a very important part of any educational institute because we can learn science, we can learn physics, we can learn thermodynamics, but how that learning could be brought together, as Joy was talking about, in the form of a team to bring interesting solutions for society is the purpose of a great citizen. And that comes when we have the leadership qualities in our individual. The second point we have to keep in mind, which is a very important point, often we forget, the competitiveness of any nation depends upon the competitiveness of its learning centers. But the centers of learning produce thoughts, produce ideas, which industry receives, that gets further developed. And in the process, we develop a competitive nation. So it is very important for an institute like IIT Kharagpur to think of what is the kind of leadership we as an institute are offering to industry, to the government. So India as a nation, and I mean 1.5 billion people, everyone feels they're charged to be competitive vis-a-vis the other parts of the world, and competitive not in an adversarial sense, to be cooperative with other nations and create interesting, profound synergies between nations. So I think leadership is extremely important for any center of learning because we not only provide thought leadership, that's what professors do. There's year after year they're doing series of theses on various subjects, and that is the source of thought leadership. So that's natural. We have to ensure that the quality of thought leadership that emerges from IIT Kharagpur is of the highest quality in the world. So there is a need for leadership education, that how do I take a thought and package it in such a way that it could shape the beauty, the economics of the future world. Second, I would call, since the subject is leadership in academia or any center of learning is an excellent place because we typically receive students who are 15, 16. When I went to IIT, I was 15 and a half years old. That period from 15 to 20, 21, 22, when undergraduates come there, that is a transformational period. From an adolescent, you're becoming an adult. Obviously, every professor's responsibility should be how to impart leadership qualities in these individuals who are in a state of transformation. Whether we like it or not, they are in a state of transformation purely because of biological and physical reasons. And of course, they're from being a school student, they're now going to become a working professional in some company. So that 4 or 5 years, I think is very important that we inject some of the qualities of leadership of the highest kind so that as they graduate and move into society, comes with that a great personality. A personality, whether he becomes member of the academia to teach or do research, personality who becomes part of the industry, where he will or she will develop interesting products, or a personality which will join the government, or for that matter, maybe in social work. But leadership would be very, very important, and I hope IIT Kharagpur would be able to package this movement that we have begun, as Prajit rightly said, almost 7 years ago. But 7 years have passed. It's a very short period in context of when we're talking about long periods. So 7 years of experimentation has given us some confidence. We know what we can do well. We know where we have to improve. And in the process, we could give shape to the next phase of the leadership movement, which we will be doing under the auspices of the school versus academia. By the way, I want to let you know, I didn't know what is the difference, but I've learned. To me, whether it's academy or school or college, it should have the full authority to offer any programs as long as we're equipped to offer the programs. But now I understand school could offer the degrees and do the PhD programs, and that's fantastic. Congratulations to the new director and to Prajit and Joy to make this happen. That's a big thing. The last point I want to make is organizational leadership, which Joy touched on, and Prajit has also touched on in the passing, that at the end of the day, leadership is about lifting others. Leadership doesn't mean you lift yourself. Leaders serve others, help others to be lifted. In the process, they get naturally lifted. And they do it as using Joy's term because they love to do so. And what we have to cultivate is that spirit of love to serve others so they can become heroes and heroines. And in the process, a person emerges as a leader. No one announces that I am a leader. They serve. In the process, people collate around you, around the thought, around a movement that you believe in. Now, to do so, I would like to particularly see our leadership school can focus on some fundamental etiquettes and behaviors. And this is, I'm talking in the context of India. because leadership at the end of the day is exhibited by our own behaviors, how I relate with each other, how I honor time. So I'm going to talk about 7 qualities that I think one of our leadership program should instill in each and every faculty, staff member, and students of IIT Kharagpur first, so we could become a model and then ensure that is spread across all learning institutes in the country and then some parts of the world. Now, what I will going to talk about it, I see honored in Japan in each and every moment of someone's life, whether he or she is in a corporate setting, in the government setting, or in the household setting. And those are the 7 points I feel we must touch on, and let me talk about it. The first great quality of any leader or any good citizen that he or she knows how to honor time. He does not keep anyone waiting. She does not keep anyone uh, waiting, or he or she does not go to any place late. Timeliness is something that we have to instill in each and every individual. And as you all of you would agree, particularly those who are attending from India, that we use time in a very careless fashion. But we also should know time is a gift God has given you. It is a limited life cycle. So every time, every unit of time lost is lost forever. And I think that should be one thing we have to start teaching, how to manage time, how to honor time, your time, others' time. In the process, you improve the productivity of a country. What is productivity? What is GDP per capita? Output per unit time. If we are so careless about time, it's very, very difficult to provide leadership to any kind of situation. That's point number 1. Second point, I would like to talk about cleanliness. Cleanliness is something which is not only physical cleanliness, cleanliness in our thinking, cleanliness as to how we organize our workspace. Now, when I first went to Japanese factory long time ago, I was amazed to see how clean the factory was. It is a automotive component factory. I did not see any spill of oil, any thrown towels or any thrown rugs anywhere. I could literally sit on the floor and eat from the floor without a plate. It was so clean. So I asked my host, who was showing me around the factory, a Japanese gentleman. Uh, his name was Mr. Narita. Mr. Narita, how often do you guys clean the factory? It's so clean. He said, he looked at me with surprise. He said, why should it be dirty? Why should it be dirty? We don't clean. We clean once a week, but we never make it dirty. We throw things where it should be thrown. The oil goes into the machine, not on the floor, not on the shirt of the worker. And that's how, so everyone's dress was absolutely like as if they were in an operation theater, white, clean. So I think we have to bring cleanliness in our life, and we have to, and that should be taught how to live clean. And this is a physical element we have to teach. Then comes the gracefulness, how to interact with each other in a graceful fashion. So I am a cheerleader for you, you're a cheerleader for me, and we are all graceful in our behavior, never angry, never expressing our ego, never expressing our arrogance. In the process, you lift others, in the process, you get lifted. So these are the physical things that I like to see. We start talking about and practicing. It's not easy because I have studied from the childhood, time is the most precious thing, but and every child in India is learning that, but we do not know how to practice it. Cleanliness, we all know we have to be clean, but we do not know how to practice it. Gracefulness, yeah, people say you should behave nicely, but we do not know how to bow down, how to be graceful with each other. So I think time has come, we should start, in name of leadership, practice those 3 things. Then comes the most important point, See, the first three is physical in nature, that we physically we have to alert. The second 2 points I will talk is in intellectual in nature. We should be unboundedness. We should be ambitious. The leadership movement that we are starting in, or we have started in 2018, the ultimate goals, Prajit asked me, what is my vision? Is to, based on the Vedic philosophy, bring a leadership movement for the world, which the world would look up to. Now, we often say, India would become great in the next 100 years, but it will not become great because we want it to be great. We have to do certain things which will lead to greatness. So if we can promote a leadership model, firstly, we practicing it. That's why what I'm discussing right now is very important. I cannot be late in meeting. I cannot appear in a meeting unclean and then not graceful. And then I expect to teach leadership all over the world. It will not work. So we have to practice and then we have to preach, and we have a sacred responsibility to our Vedic spirit, to people like Tagore and Vivekananda and Aurobindo, to take this movement to the world. It is a calling. It is an inner calling that all of us should realize that we have to do so. But to do so, we have to prepare ourselves first so we could be modeled. So unboundedness in our ambition, go beyond constraints. We cannot say, Eta can habina. We say that too easily. Or we cannot do it. Why we should always try to cross the boundaries and explore the new frontiers. That's what Jagadish Chandra Bose did. That's what Satyendra Bose did. We talk about boson, but boson, he could see the linkage between the particle and the waves. So why are we losing that desire to be unbounded in our thinking? I call it unboundedness. Along with that, inquisitiveness. That we should be curious. The curiosity should be, what is the next phase of our development? What could be my role? What could be our role? What could be our country's role? And in the process, how will the civilization evolve? In that spirit, as many of you know, on February 24th, next year, 2025, we are organizing IIT Kharagpur to celebrate its 75th anniversary. Is organizing a major event, first of the kind in the world. All of you are invited. It is going to be in the IIT's research park, and the title of the event is Parliament of Enlightenment, ... towards collaborative prosperity. This is the kind of things. It's a very ambitious project. Prajit, Joy, Shuman, everyone is behind it. Many of the members of the Academy of the School of Leadership are there. And the reason we are doing it is to show to the world, yes, India could offer a new direction. And by hosting a parliament of enlightenment, first of the kind in the world, to be hosted in the city where the concept of God particle was born. And which is the city where the God particle was born? It is the city of Calcutta. So any new idea which is good for the universe, good for the world, good for India, I hope Calcutta would continue to play that role, because it has played such a role in the last 200 years. So that is the inquisitiveness. Then comes the other two things which are very important. Holiness in the work, Shraddha, Nishtha. The work that we do, whether we are making a pottery or whether we are doing a research in our labs, we have to do it with feeling as if we are offering our prayer to God, anything that we do, or whether we are cleaning the toilet. But when I'm cleaning the toilet, that is the best thing God has offered me to do. I'm doing it with complete nishtha, shraddha, as if this is the prayer that I'm offering to the world. And mind you, each and every piece of work, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the classroom, or thinking about the next phase of development of the world, each one of them are equally important. None of them are superior, none of them are inferior. They all interact with each other like the cells in your body interact. Every cell plays a role. Part of is the brain, but brain is nowhere superior than your liver, or your fingers are no longer superior than your toes, because each and every element of your body plays an important role for you to be a complete person. Similarly, in a complete society, whether you're a janitor, whether you're a bathroom cleaner, or whether you take care of people after their death in the Shashan, they're all important. And we talk about it, but we don't practice it. So that's where the whole concept of holiness, that everyone is offering their prayer. And I should offer my prayer when I'm speaking to you. I'm offering it to you as my prayer to everyone in this audience and people who are not there. So, and the last part is the most important one for a great leader is selflessness, being selfless. You know, life is not about yourself. Life is about how you interact with others. We again talk about it, but we don't practice. We always think, what is in it for me? Why should that question ever evolve? If we are part of a society, the point should be how could I interact and offer value to society? And in the process, how do I get inner satisfaction? So I would like to see that a course be organized. I just become very specific, particularly for the first year students, very well organized course where we will teach this 7 Nesses. Let me summarize: kindliness, cleanliness, holiness, gracefulness, inquisitiveness, unboundedness, and selflessness. There's 7 of them. If these 7 of them could be implanted in our students and in our faculty, because for faculty to teach this, they have to practice the 7. If I'm teaching a course, but I am always late in the classroom or always delay when I finish the class, obviously I'm sending a wrong example. And I'm using the board. If I write it nicely and then after the work is done, I clean it up, I'm teaching cleanliness. Similarly, holiness, when I'm teaching a course, I'm teaching with such a lot of joy, such a lot of care, that holiness and the teaching becomes evident as if I'm offering to the students my prayers. If that becomes visible in our faculty, and in the process cultivate that in our students, we are definitely going to create a different India in next 10 to 15 years time. But we have to begin. We could have done that in 1947 or 1951 when IIT Kharagpur started. But that time the focus was get to learn the technical knowledge. Now it is becoming clear technical knowledge is good, but without the soft knowledge, without the behavioral knowledge, without the imagination, without the unboundedness, we will not be able to become relevant in the global affairs, global events. In the United Nations, 2 days ago, there was a big event, as you know, all the leaders came together. And to be honest with you, there was a discussion about China, Russia, Ukraine, technology, climate, but there was hardly any discussion about India because we have not yet earned that stature which we deserve to earn, where our point of view, our thought process, how the next phase of peacemaking, next phase of humanity would be shaped. We have not taken a point of view. We say that here and there, but we as a nation, where we have to practice what we are talking, then people will start listening carefully. Japan has earned that, but Japan on the other side is a bit too shy in making their thoughts audible or visible in global stages. But everyone who goes to Japan comes back saying, what a wonderful country. Whether you go to the subway, or you go to walk through the roads, wherever you are, you see courtesy, gracefulness. You see all the 7 Nesses that I've talked about. Every person is following. So that's what I think we have to do. I think we are a very special place in time because of Joy and Prajit and Shumon. We have converted, or converting maybe, I do not know where we are, the academy to school with the hope that we'll have undergraduate programs, graduate programs, we'll have research, a lot of research to be done. A lot of research to be done. Why certain type of people can follow those 7 S's. There are people in India who follows the timeliness, cleanliness, holiness, gracefulness, all the 7. But why the other 90% don't? There has to be some research done. And what are we not managing that a young kid is losing track of the value of time? Why a young kid is losing track the importance of being clean? Why is a young kid not being ambitious, thinking beyond the boundaries, which I call unboundedness? So I think with a lot of research to be done, a lot of work ahead, and the last closing point is even if the centers of learning should be the centers which should give birth to concepts of leadership, not for leadership's sake, but to have an impact on society through physics, through chemistry, through mathematics. Thought leadership is universities are all about thought leadership. Whether we talk about Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Jagadish Chandra Bose, we talk about Ghosh, they were all leaders, but they were thought leaders. It doesn't mean that we have to be business leaders. They're thought leaders, business leaders, academic leaders, but academia is the place which is the fountainhead of leadership. And that's where I want to congratulate Prajit as the chairman. Under his leadership, we are transitioning from academy to a school with the hope that this school would become a shining star for the world, but first for Kharagpur, then for India, then for the world. We have to take a step, but we should be unboundedness in reaching out to the world, because we have to continuously interact with the world to be the best. If otherwise, we'll be isolated. So the being global at the beginning is important, but our focus may be to build great leaders in the nation. So with that, I would like to thank you very much, Prajit, for giving me this opportunity. It was totally extempore, as you could sense. I hope I made some sense. And thank you very much indeed.
One question, Partha. I think you already have some more plans coming up, and I would like you to talk a little bit about it, about how the school, or right now the academy, is going to play a role in igniting imagination in our budding entrepreneurs, engineers. If you can throw some light about your plans, with, of course, IIT in the mix, can you please talk about it? Yeah.
Thank you, Prajit. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I missed that point, but it's a very good point. Just for the audience, Prajit and Joy knows that on the August 18th, when we had the 75th Platinum Jubilee Day at IIT Kharagpur, I proposed almost impromptu that I would like to support the development of something called the Imagination Lab. And we have decided we'll locate the Imagination Lab as a center of excellence within the school. Now, why Imagination Lab? Now, when we talk about unboundedness, I think that it comes from our ability to imagine possibilities beyond the usual. Because if we purely think of usual, then we will never be able to be innovative. And any nation's competitiveness will no longer depend upon just making the same thing, how to continuously innovate and imagine new possibilities. So purpose of the Imagination Lab is to help the development of the right brain. Mind you, most of the education processes that we have experienced since the establishment of Oxford and Cambridge until today, which is the Western education, is basically very structured and sequential, helping our left brain development, which is good. And that has led to a lot of innovation, which is structured, sequential, rational, logical, very important. But the right brain is imaginative, intuitive. We left it to people like Tagore to use the right brain and come up with beautiful poetries, and people like Einstein. Now, with the artificial intelligence coming into play, which is just does all the structured sequential work, much of the left brain work would unconsciously get outsourced to AI, to ChatGPT. I see my students all of a sudden started writing beautiful essays. All of a sudden, the essays have become so beautiful, so charming. I said, what happened? Well, there's ChatGPT. So fine, they use ChatGPT, but the point is they are missing the art of speaking or writing like the Joy does. Joy is a beautiful speaker, but that is where he's using his right brain. Now, I think the time has come, okay, left brain unconsciously or consciously would outsource his work to AI, and AI is a very early stage of development. So how do we use the right brain, which is imaginative, so we can use the power of AI in an imaginative fashion? And that's the second role of this imagination lab, to see how we could help people, the scientists and engineers in IIT Kharagpur, develop the right brain so they become more imaginative. Second, and the third is, again, I always try to connect theory with practice. The practice part would be we will create, as Joy has already taken the leadership, a competition from high school, so middle school to high school to IIT students, even MA, PhD students, postdocs. This whole group from the age of 15 to age of 30 will create competition for someone to imagine a problem and see what kind of possibilities he could imagine. Just imagine. But that imagination has to be unbounded, outside the current thinking, yet practical, not pie in the sky. So I think that would be the three roles that the School of Leadership could play through the Imagination Lab. Now, if I put the Imagination Lab and leadership together, it's very interesting. Imagination Lab on one side would trigger ideas through various disciplines: mechanical engineering, civil engineering, computer science, agroengineering. On one end, imagination is driving that. On the other hand, the leadership is taking these ideas and taking it to society to lead change. So these are the two balancing, if you will, act. One is creating the ideas, other one is, and then the ideas gets refined in the disciplines of engineering and science, and then the leadership is helping the lead the ideas into product to services to bring transformational change in society. Then we have completed the equation. So we are trying to complete the equation, and there's none other than Joy who could explain this more eloquently than I could, but this is the whole concept behind. Prajit, I hope I answered your.
Yes. No, thank you, Partha. And just as you mentioned that Professor Sen could probably talk a little bit more about it. So, Professor Sen, why don't you go ahead and maybe also close the discussion with your final thoughts?
No, I'll put it this way. This is a fantastically inspiring discussion going on, with having Partha, Dr. Ghosh, Partha, just opening up the fountains of infinity. It's like a fountainhead. And it was hidden. It was there in the garden. It's a line from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, but nobody knew it. Somebody just went and opened up the tap, and here comes out infinite gush of creative, imaginary waters. So all we need is to transform this school of leadership, hopefully in the coming few months, to be that fountainhead. Fountainhead is also the name of a very famous book written by Ayn Rand on one of the most famous architects of the world, Frank Lloyd Wright. And even that movie was so imaginative that it was also done in Hindi and Bengali. In Bengali, it was Surjo Torun, acted by Uttam Kumar. And in English, this was Gary Cooper. It was Gary Cooper. So in that movie, what was shown that here comes an architect, here comes a designer, to put it better, here comes a human being who does not say, oh, I know this solution, I'm going to give you this house with so many terraces and things like that. You come to me day after tomorrow, I'm going to give you a few sketches. But what he does, he says instead, where is your site? And then the client says, It's far away in Pennsylvania. And then he asks, where in Pennsylvania? Then the client says, it's right inside the woodlands. And then Frank again asks, but where in the woodlands? And then the client says, you won't be able to approach it. I have a few pictures and sketches, which I think you can use. There's a bit of a water coming down from the hills, and the rock is sheer, and it's all dense forest on the east and the west and in the north. And he just went on. And then Frank Lloyd Wright said, just hold on. Can you show me the way how I can reach that site? So what happened in the coming few days, in the coming few weeks and months, Frank Lloyd Wright kept on visiting the site. He just went on and stayed there, saw the sunrise behind the rocks. He saw the gush of water coming down from the Rocky Mountains, going down into the crevice. In the midday, he saw the beautiful lush green of the Pennsylvania, and a Sylvania means forest, like Transylvania and things like that. And no one would believe, and Frank Lloyd Wright visited the site about 7 to 8 times, and each time he stayed for more than 3 and 4 days. He moved around the site like an explorer, like Buddha or Swami Vivekananda. In Sanskrit, we call it paribrajan. He was moving all across India to see India, the Indians, the poor India, the impoverished India, the wretched India, the illiterate India, unaware of its past, first-hand narratives. So this is Frank Lloyd Wright, and Ayn Rand converts the whole real-time, real-life Frank Lloyd Wright to an imaginary figure who is known as Howard Rock. Howard Rock. Howard Rock is the hero of that book. If I'm right, Partha, the movie ran in the halls for about a year, and the book sold, and the book sold more than 1 million copies across the world, and it's still selling. It's still selling. So what happens? It has touched upon something which is immortal, and where there has been a honest, those 7 points by Partha. Those 7 points by Partha, I'm saying it again, they've all come together, honesty, sanctity, diligence, patience, timeliness, dedication, purity of purpose. They've all come together. And the real-time Frank Lloyd Wright has joined with the imaginary Frank Lloyd Wright. So what are we saying? You get an entity where you have a combination of the real number and the imaginary number. And you get a complex number. You get complexity. You reach the theory of complexity. Complexity is not complicated. Complexity means the rhythms and the beauty of nature, the rhythms and the harmonies of nature. It means the mysteries of nature, which is the mother herself, Mother Nature. So by virtue of complexity, by knowing complexity, which is right now in the purview of science, mathematics, non-linear dynamics, quantum sciences, we touch upon something which was always there with very ancient people like Plato, Socrates, Kapil Muni, Maharshi Valmiki, Kavi Kalidas, ancient people. So right from the days of the ancient people like Kalidas or Maharshi Valmiki to Plato and Socrates of Periclean Greece about 700 BCE, we come down to the times which Partha mentioned, creative two minds, they come together. One is predominantly a man from left brain, that's Albert Einstein, Sir Albert Einstein. And the other person is predominantly a man of right brain thinking, which is world poet Rabindranath Tagore. But somehow they become good friends. Why? Because they overlap. And Tagore was predominantly imaginative, but also very real, very realistic, because he could create an ecological laboratory which invited the best of the talents from all over the world, from C.F. Andrews to Patrick Geddes to Alice Boner and many more. On the other hand, if you look at Einstein, he's a man of mathematics and machines. and he gave something which is still debated, which is the relativity theory. And but at the same time, he was a fiddler. He played the violin, used to move in the hall of musicians, he used to write, and used to be quietly watching the meadows. And he was also a mentor to Oppenheimer in his very tough days. In his very tough days, he was like a he was not solving mathematics with Oppenheimer. Instead, he was talking to Oppenheimer and saying, "Beta, ये ठीक है, ये ठीक नहीं है, ये अब करो ज़्यादा, ये मत करो ज़्यादा." So he was like a mentor. So you see the other side of Einstein. So what happens, as Partha was saying, some Ratnadi says Tagore was a very successful businessman. I think both Swami Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore were fantastic entrepreneurs. Fantastic. I mean, we are not even 1/8 of what they were. And he created Shantiniketan, and Vivekananda could have created 100 Ramakrishna missions. He just created one of them. Yeah. So this is the level of entrepreneurship. I mean, that is because he knew just one Ramakrishna mission and its network is enough that India could digest at that point of time.
He created a lot of Vedanta centers around the
world. And he created all around the world. Then he created the pedestal for the next gurus to step into the United States and the Western world, like Abhedananda ji, Paramahansa Yogananda ji, Muktananda ji, Prabhupada, and many more and many more and many more. And not only that, he opened up dialogues with Nikola Tesla. He opened up dialogues with Rockefeller to open up eventually the Smithsonian Foundation, which led to the National Geographic Foundation and things like that. So this is absolutely fantastic. So what we are talking, which Partha has beautifully harped in his speech, this imagination lab brings in the latent component, which otherwise is dormant. It's dormant. It's a heat. It's a property which is already there in the system, but somewhere we have not tapped it. It's latent. It's a latent heat. It's a heat. Yeah, and this has to be raised. It's like a uncoiled. Ratnadi again comes back and says Einstein was a beautiful violinist, a fiddler, the fiddler on the roof. I mean, God is known as the fiddler on the roof. Yeah, so these are fantastic things. So the imagination lab, which Partha, no wonder why they communicated so well. That's what Ratna Ghosh is again saying. This is beautiful. I mean, I love these dialogues popping up on the screen, and you get a participation as I'm talking. So this is absolutely fantastic. And then the other Dr. Partha Ghosh, the scientist Partha Ghosh, who is the last disciple of S.N. Bose, I mean, who was one of the directors of S.N. Bose Institute, has written a book on the Tagore-Einstein dialogue, which is called The Nature of Reality. I met the other Partha also about 2 years back, and maybe one day I'll be able to bring the two Parthadas together and have a great gathering. So I think if I end with the last 2 or 3 sentences, what Partha today has already said, by bringing the real component of a number with the imaginary component, which Schrödinger has done in his wave equation. If you look at the wave equation very closely, you will see that the wave equation is actually a dicotyledon or a doublet, what do you call a double variable of A plus BI into A minus BI, which means there is a portion of the wave which travels plus BI, that is beyond the speed of light into the future, and there's a portion of light which is minus BI. It retards and goes back to the past. So that is the foundation of Schrödinger's cat and also Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So right in the heart of quantum sciences or quantum physics, we have the imagination lab. I mean, if Schrödinger did not have the imaginary component in his equation, then I think the world wouldn't have got the wave equation. And there's a book on this. Partha, I just got the book about 10 years back, just before COVID. I wish everybody reads that book, because I'm not a pure man of science. I'm not very strong in science, but that book really cleared up the whole of quantum science. It's called Quantum Handshake by John Kramer. And John Kramer is one of the direct disciples of Richard Feynman and John Wheeler. So this is a fantastic book where I've learned that true science, which is a combination of quantum sciences of the small and relativistic sciences of the very large, when they come together, they combine. So quantum sciences is real, but it combines the imaginary component of the large world, and relativistic sciences, which is real in its own domain, combines the imaginary component of the quantum world. And when the two comes together, they create something which is known as omics, O-M-I-C-S. And one of our brilliant Professor Partha Chakraborty, PPC, says that he taught me, I am one of his disciples. So he is another Partha. So PPC told me, Joy, this is the future of AI. Yeah. So Sachin Anandji talks about entanglement and the two sides of AI, predictive and regenerative. So with this, we combine the real and the imaginary as one. So I think we need a spot at IIT Kharagpur where this huge melting down is going to happen, where we will be having CNC labs, CNG labs, electromechanical systems lab, what we call MEMS, micro electromechanical systems, in which I think Japan and China are the two leading countries in the world right now. I think they're producing the best MEMS of circuit designs in the world right now, even more than the West. And then I think very largely where I can pitch in, and my friends, of course, from architecture and planning can pitch in a very big way, which is a design lab. So instead of calling civil engineering or infrastructure engineering or architecture, today what we call is a design thinking lab, So everything is a design thinking. And this is where it becomes perfectly wonderful. So I really got excited when I heard Dr. Ghosh, our very esteemed, respected Partha, is thinking about gifting again back to his alma mater in form of an imagination lab. And he announced that again on the foundation, the day IIT Kharagpur was established by the forefathers of our nation. So it was a very, very effulgent and benign moment. In Bengali, we call it Povitra. So Oi Povitra Muhurte, in that moment of benignness, that announcement is made. But woods are very, dark and deep, and we have many promises to keep, but we have many, many, many miles to go before we sleep. So I think we really have to reach out to these promises. And as Partha said, we should be back to those 7 points, the basics. And I'll sort of summarize with Gandhiji, who said, first, you be the change that you like to be outside. See outside. I mean, বাইরে যেটা তুমি দেখতে চাইছো, whatever जो आप बाहर में देखना चाहते हैं, पहले आप अपन वो हो जाइए. You try to be on your own. Then you become a living manifestation of the ideals that you stand for, and automatically the youngsters, not the students, the youngsters will automatically follow you. I think that is the key of leadership, which I've heard again and again from Partha's books, from Partha's PowerPoint presentations. I mean, that is a summary. And Partha had been sending me a lot of things last 9-10 months. So this is a summary that I have received from all that he has said, that practice, and be at least a little portion of that change, so that you become a living example to the youngsters who are looking up to you. They're watching you. In this world, everybody is watching everybody. Even the little rickshawala is watching the president or the chief minister or the prime minister of India. So everybody is watching everybody. So it's a moral, ethical, and humane responsibility to practice what we say. Practice These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Bhaber ghore jate kono churi na hoy. I mean, we should practice what we say. So I think the imagination
Joy,
lab.
give me one sentence.
Yeah.
Which
Over to Partha. Over to Partha.
That's just a closing statement because you triggered a thought that let's all believe that if it is to be, it is up to me. If we can take on that challenge with that spirit, because we do have a vision. So if it is to be, it is up to me. And if each one of us today in this session believes that, we would be able to begin that movement. And that's what we are talking about.
Absolutely, Partha. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We have run out of time, but I think I will just take one question. I think we have Mr. Ravish wants to ask something. Mr. Ravish, go ahead, please.
Is he unmuted?
Yeah, at least I have allowed him to.
Yeah, we can see Ravish Maheshwari.
Ravish Maheshwari, yes.
Yes,
Go ahead,
welcome.
Unmute yourself.
Please unmute.
It's sign, I see it's muted.
Yeah, it is muted. I have allowed him to, like, when I've given him the permission to talk. So,
Oh.
hmm.
Anyone else would like to? Yeah, he's unmuted.
Yeah, anyone else? We can have another person or maybe another two
Yeah, let's
persons.
have another
before-
12 minutes. It's typically 1.5 hours, 12 minutes we have.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Mr. Maheshwari still?
Yeah, he's still around, but somehow. Yeah, Ravish. Yes, Ravish ji, please. So can you unmute yourself and say something?
No, I think it is showing that he's on hold now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have Vijay Narang.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, please go
We
ahead.
have Vijay ji.
Vijay is always of interest. Yes, Vijay. Unmute. You go at the top of your screen where you see the mic sign, just click there. Next to camera, you will see there's a mic sign.
Yeah, MIC. Yeah, there you go.
You click there.
I'm also come on live.
Okay, carry on.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your.
Carry on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Vijay ji.
Okay, good. Now, the point is that actually we are used to Zoom, so we have switched over to Meets. That's why probably we are having a little issue, but no problems. The point that I really had was that at this moment, on such illuminating talk and discussion, we are having roughly about 40 people attending the thing. What is holding back the entire, at least IIT Kharagpur crowd, the students, to be able to participate? Because until unless those people really come in, we are not able to really make the movement go very large. What is preventing that?
No, so
How can
Vijay,
we motivate them? How can we
Yeah,
get the people around?
no, Vijay, there is no lack of motivation. It is actually the fault, or rather, the shortcoming is on our part. So this week happens to be a mid-semester exams are going on, but even otherwise, the involvement of students, or rather the lack of involvement on this particular forum has been kind of noticed, and I mean, we have discussed this as a team. So we are taking some steps to ensure that even the monthly lecture doesn't go unattended. Having said that, last time when Partha was here in IIT KGP in person, we had a good session. Again, in that session, Professor Sen, Partha, and myself were there. and that was attended by, I don't know, maybe around 200 students or so. Yeah, in Netaji Auditorium. And that day, so even the number 200 was the weather was very bad. It was like heavily raining.
Extremely bad. It was
extremely bad weather. Yeah, and even then, students turned up. And more importantly, not only did they turn up, they kind of hang around for the complete discussion. So there is no lack of enthusiasm or motivation. Please give us some more time. We are a small team supporting the academy. So it is a shortcoming of arranging the logistics, but we are.
Prajit, can I
Yes,
add?
yes, please.
Yeah,
please
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, you have already said it. Yeah, this is for Vijayji, because that's a very important pointer from Vijayji, and we must take care and listen and to what he is hinting at. So even that day in that session, Vijayji in Netaji Auditorium, there are more than close to 16 or 17 questions, and they're not ending also. We somehow had put an end. And just the day before, in F134, which you know, SN Bose Auditorium, there was another crowd of about 165 students, almost 165 students, They came, and the little that I know, that many of them are still corresponding with Partha, with Dr. Ghosh, and conversing with him. But that's not the answer that you're looking for. What you have hinted at is right. I think we should be more inviting. We should create instances, contexts, which are more attractive, more student-friendly, and more down to earth, so that the same interests that they will show to a program by Shreya Ghoshal or Kaushiki Chakravarti or Arijit Singh. We cannot expect the same number by Arijit Singh. At least 1/10 of that will come to a program of ours. If 1/10 of that happens, then we have made it. Yeah, because the students will always have a inclination towards right brain thinking, like a Hindi movie song or a film or something, because they're fed up with left brain education. They're fed up with left brain education.
Ravish.
Yeah, Ravish ji.
Thank you so much. I just want to bring to your kind knowledge the 13th president of Belur Mutt, Ramakrishna Mutt, Swami Ranganathananda, spoke 3 hours extempore on Eastern ways of management versus Western ways of management. And that book has been published as Human Values in Management by the Ramakrishna Mission, and which talks about on the same line. And you have beautifully put, both of you have put up very beautifully. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ravish. Thank you. We should get hold of that book, Raju. I have heard about it.
Yeah. I've seen that book. I'll get some copies for our academy or school. Yeah, that's so kind of you, Ravish ji. Yeah.
In fact, he was the speaker invited by foreign governments as well as Indian government to sponsor his lectures abroad. And he has published his records of his lectures in 2 volumes. Pilgrimage Looks at the World. It is 700 pages in first volume and about 300 pages in the second volume, where he has documented all his lectures all over the world. And they are so beautiful.
Yeah, Ranganathan ji was a splendid speaker.
And I had the fortune of meeting him 4 times in my life.
Oh,
Professor Hari Krishna wants to say.
Hari Krishna. Yes,
Hari
Professor
Krishna
Hari Krishna.
Is
if
Lord
you can
Krishna.
unmute.
He is the equivalent to Lord Krishna. A good friend of mine.
Very, very good evening to all.
Good evening.
With a lot of gratitude to Professor Partha Ghosh and entire team led by Partha Ghosh Leadership Academy at IIT Kharagpur. This is Professor Hari Krishna, and I'm so grateful for arranging such a wonderful talk. I have learned so many good things. Really, it's inspiring, sir. And the way Professor Sen and Professor Partha Ghosh has presented, these are the very, very basic things, but which are being neglected nowadays by the academic institutes, and people are not feeling the necessity, as Mr. Vijay is mentioning, maybe less, but there are people who are giving a lot of importance for this effective and noble leadership. which is the dire necessity of today, please. I still, I have a lot of honor for this academy. Of course, I'm so grateful for Partha Ghosh sir to visit NIT Warangal, and he has given lot of enthusiasm in giving some extension also, in way of having some facility here. I'm so grateful, and I'm so thrilled to have such a wonderful talks. It's really great, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And
Thank you, sir.
Professor Krishna, I'll talk to you about the extension now that it will be easier.
Sure, sir. Sure. We'll wait
Yeah.
for you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, just as a thought, right? We would like to explore, supporting institute like yours through our School of Leadership.
Exactly.
That is key to our existence. The idea is not to just limit the benefit to IIT Kharagpur itself, because then we are not leaders, right? Because as Partha kept on saying, right, it's about enabling, it's about lifting others, right? So if we just say that and not practice that in principle, then that's not going to make sense, right? So please get in touch with us, with myself, Professor Sen, and let's explore opportunities of maybe doing joint programs, even faculty, short-term faculty exchange.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So please drop
Thank
in.
you, sir. Even our director is very much interested. Even our director, Professor Vidyadhar Subudhi, he has given lot of importance for this. And surely, sir, I'll be in touch with you. Surely, sir. It's a great honor for us.
Thank you so much, sir. Madam Ratna Ghosh has a question. Yeah. Madam?
Unmute again, Ratna Ghosh.
Yeah, madam, can you unmute? Yeah, there she is. Yes, madam. Unmute yourself, please.
Unmute is a mic at the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, the MIC button.
Just click there, you'll get unmuted. Would Anupam from distance unmute her? Prajit?
No. I mean, we can allow her to talk, which we already have done, but unmute she has to do on her own. Yeah.
On her own. So, madam, if you look at the top right-hand corner, you see the leave button, share button, then you will see the mic button. Just click there, you'll get unmuted. Maybe she's having difficulty.
Perhaps some difficulty.
It's pretty straightforward, right?
Okay. No, she says it's not working.
Oh, so maybe you can, if you can type, madam, your question.
When you type it in.
Yeah.
Chat box will appear.
Yeah, so what she has written is, I am Ratna Ghosh, an ex-student of electrical, BTech, instrumentation, and PhD in control systems, now teaching and researching in JU instrumentation department. Would love to be able to implement the 7 cardinals and some imagination lab here in JU, given some guidance, and hence make it a movement in Eastern India. Oh yeah, absolutely. So on the same note, madam, as I said already, right, we would love to work, especially you are, geographically you are so close by, right? So we would love to work with Jadavpur, and it's very convenient for
it's very convenient.
both the institutes. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Please send us an email.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay, we can see you, madam, but unfortunately.
We can see.
Yeah, can you unmute?
Can see her? Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, can you unmute, madam?
আপনি মাইকটার উপর ক্লিক করে দিন।
Just
the top right hand corner, MIC.
Okay.
কিছু
Okay,
একটা
no
প্রবলেম
problem.
হচ্ছে। Okay, okay. We'll do it. Prajit and
Okay,
I
and also
will
what
reach out to you.
yes, yes, and I think what Madam is also requesting is next time when Partha is in Kolkata, if he can visit JU. Of course, surely.
Definitely.
I think Partha will be here next year for sure in February timeframe.
Definitely. In
Yeah.
February, I'll be there, and you are invited to the February 24th event,
Yes.
which will be in IIT
Okay,
Kharagpur
okay.
Research Park.
Professor Shangomitra Basu is your good friend. Great. So done. So good. So we are connected. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent. So good, so good. Excellent. I think
These are the things that we are looking for. So we have NIT Warangal, we have Jadavpur University.
in fact, there are several. Prajit, I'll send you a list.
Sure.
Over the last 3-4 years, I've received a lot of requests from western part of India, from Hare Krishna has been very, very eager. So I'll send you a full list. Who are
Sure.
the people who want to collaborate?
Sure, absolutely. Please do that. Yes. There is one comment or question from Mr. Arvind Hans. He writes that apart from 7 fundamentals shared by Professor Ghosh, can you throw some light on ethicality in leadership plus collaboration, which I feel was missed out by IITs but was adopted by IIMs? Are we missing out on collaboration in innovation? Oh, don't ask this to me. I think Professor Sen and myself, we can probably spend the rest of the night talking about this because, Professor Sen has faced it over, I don't know how many, last 2-3 decades of his career in KGP at least. And
Yeah, collaboration.
yeah. So yeah, absolutely, Mr. Arvind. Totally agree. And that is the reason we have already discussed and taken Parthoda's blessings on that we would like to make the program offered by the School of Leadership to even our new joinees, faculty members. That is extremely important. So the academy is not going to be just limited to offering, let's say, degrees to students, but also as a part of the boot camp for new joinee faculties, right? Every faculty will have to probably go for a few weeks of leadership training. And what do we mean by leadership training? It's about understanding or rather elevating your own self so that you kind of get out of the narrow-minded approach or narrow-minded way of looking at things, right? And I think there's a huge potential to be remaining to be untapped, which cannot be done without the help of these kind of courses. So, Joyda, you want to say something?
I want to say
I
something.
think, yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Partha, go ahead, Partha.
Yeah, because the question was, apart from 7 fundamentals, can you throw some light? Well, within the 7 fundamentals, both ethics and collaboration is built in. When I talk about selflessness, you only collaborate when you do not think about yourself. You think of the society first. So naturally, you will be collaborating. And then I use the word holiness. Holiness, Shraddha, Nishtha. That is about ethics. You're offering your work as a prayer, whether, as I mentioned, whether you're cleaning the bathroom or cleaning the thoughts of the Prime Minister's office, whether the cleaning the thoughts or cleaning the garbage, if it has to be done with Shraddha, and that's where ethics comes in. I just want to make sure that it is not left out, is very much built in the 7 nesses that we talked about.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Joy. Yeah.
Sir, please go ahead, Professor Sen. You want to
Yeah, no,
comment on that?
I think Partha has already said it, and I'll just like to add. I think the last foundation pillar of Partha's, which is selflessness, if I'm right. That is the whole foundation of our individual spirituality. That is the highest form of collaboration that someone can dream about, where it is just not an intellectual collaboration, but it's a collaboration between the self of one identity with the self of another identity, and it goes on like that, like a progression.
Atma, Paramatma.
Yeah,
Atma,
exactly.
Paramatma.
Yeah. So when all the,
Continuum. It's a continuum.
yeah, so it's a continuum. So when about 10, 4, 5 micro selves come together, Paramatman gets reflected automatically. You start getting the collective consciousness. In Indian epistemology, we call it Mahat. Shankar philosophy calls it Mahat, which is not individual consciousness, but collective consciousness. And the Upanishads go even beyond that. Mahato Mahoriyan. That means even Mahat than the Mahat, when it is cosmic. That is, it is even beyond Mahato Mahoriyan. So India has all these. The issue is we have all these in our text and in our super literature, the Shrutis, but we are not practicing it. In the Iron Age civilization of India, we have lost touch with the Golden and the Silver Age. We have lost touch. I think the Bronze Age was both a continuity and a loss, which is Dapar Yoga, and somehow and you can see it by the Battle of Mahabharata and the way the Draupadi is treated by the Kauravas. So they are all the first spotlights of the beginning of an Iron Age civilization. So the end of Dapar Yuga or Mahabharata is like the beginning of the Iron Age. You get all the properties which are all over the world right now. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, they're all over the world right now. So what happens, we have to really go back. We have to turn back to that golden age. And it's not so easy. It's a matter of renunciation.
It's going to be a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
But with Prajit and your leadership, I think we will be there.
Yeah. At least the first 3, 4, 5 steps, if we can make it of the 7 pillars, that's a lot. But I think there is a help which is also coming from the larger consciousness. These are the words of Sri Aurobindo. It is just not you who is trying, but also Mother Nature and the changes in her is also helping you. So it's a collaboration between art consciousness, divine consciousness, and individual consciousness. And Sri Aurobindo has put that beautifully, beautifully in his works. So I think this is where we are. But somewhere we have to start. I mean, we can keep on talking big, but we have to start. We have to start acting. Prajit has done it in its own way. When Prajit remembered me from 22 years back as a teacher, he connected with me. I forgot him. He never forgot me. So this is the connection. Yeah. So
I believe you have forgotten.
I forgot him. Yeah, Partha, I forgot him.
Subconscious mind.
Yeah, I mean, he was there in the plethora of many students, but he did not forget me in the plethora of many teachers. Yeah. So So somehow both of ourselves got connected, and I think we touched upon a bit, maybe 0.006 divine. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that's where leadership starts. Yeah.
So it's very heartening to see. It's very, I mean, trust me. I mean, I cannot overemphasize how much joy it brings when I see so much of interest from academia on this matter, because I see more comments coming in from Mr.
A lot of comments.
A lot of comments. So we
print out this
we should keep we'll keep a track of all these.
Yes.
We need to work on these, and they should not be lost in darkness.
And one request is to kind of make the movement successful, right? So, and this is a movement, right? It is not just about creating a school or another degree churning institute, machine, right? So we need your support in making the movement successful in and around, of course, KGP, then in Bengal, and then across the country. So please reach out to us, and trust me, we are very accessible. In fact, I can, once you reach out to us, I will give you my cell phone number. You can ping me on WhatsApp, and we can, arrange for meetings. So you can please drop me an email, Madam Ghosh, and I will send you my phone number, and then we can talk also, because emails can only fetch us to a, only take us to some time. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I think Parobidi has my contact for sure. So she should be able to give you my contact, or just drop me an email. I'll get back to you. And
I
the
think
same
Colonel
with you.
Subramaniam Raman wants to say a few words, I think.
Yes, can you go ahead?
Colonel, do you want to say a few words?
Yes.
Very
Now
Now
you're
happy,
on.
very happy hearing some of the very interesting talks from my mentor, I would say my mentor in person as well as mentor in imagination, Partha Ghosh. She had taken a session for us in 2007 or so, where 2007-9, where he talked about liberalization, globalization, and privatization. And then the entire VG SOM had gathered to serve under you. Sir, Sampreet was the coordinator then, and I am Colonel Subramanian Raman, went on to become a Vice Chancellor, sir, of a university later, and now I am a director of a prestige institute of management and research. We will try establishing a bench of yours in our institution in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, sir.
Let's do
We
that.
are a NAC A++ institution and an autonomous institution destined to become a deemed university soon. So I think this is the need of the hour. What, sir, any amount of wealth we bequeath to the societies is a small one, whether it is a Bill Gates or Raman or Partha sir doing it, it's a very small one. The knowledge that you are bequeathing will set a chain reaction more than the fission fusion effects, sir. And I'm sure would definitely deliver value-based leaders for the society, and that is the need of the hour. And thank you very much, sir. I'm really inspired, and every time I look forward to this session every month after month, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vijay. Okay. So we should close now? Or?
Yeah.
Yes. So very nice discussion. I think much more than we thought it would be. But I think, yeah, it's a pity that Commander couldn't join us today. But I think we'll have him some other time, some other day. So thank you, and have a very nice Dasera. It has been raining here like very heavily over the last couple of days in Kolkata. So we are keeping fingers crossed that the puja days, the actual puja days, are sunny and bright. Wish you all a very happy festive season. Thank you. So until next time, until next month. Thank you.
Until next month, yeah.
Until next month. Yeah.
Prajit, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Partha. Thanks to everyone here. I think the presence of everyone here is the presence of God Almighty here.
Thank you.
Madhurga. Thank you.
Madhurga.
Okay, all the best. Bye-bye.